Hello, everyone, and welcome to TCI TV 12's Game of the Week tonight. From Butler Gym in York, it's Western Maine Class B girls action as the York Wildcats host the Marshwood Hawks. Hi, everyone. I'm Eric Nelson, along with John Martins. John, our first opportunity to see two very good teams here in Class B, especially the York Wildcats, coming off an impressive win over Wells on Friday by 21.
Yeah, they looked really strong against the Warriors in their opener. But you look at the Marshwood team as well, Eric, and they played Kennebunk very tough, was in that ball game to the wire, and lost to the Rams, the defending state champions in Class B, by just 3 points.
This is a very good rivalry, John. These two teams played 3 times last year, York winning all of them, including a semifinal win in the playoffs that catapulted to the Wildcats to their game against Kennebunk last year. Traditionally, two very strong programs, and two programs somewhat similar, John. They both play the aggressive style, tenacious defense.
They play man-to-man defense, a lot of man-to-man. York may have a little bit of different variations on their pressure formation, but Marshwood this year, I think you'll see a little bit more man-to-man, full court, in-your-face type of defense from them, a little bit more so even than usual.
Yeah, really, from York's perspective, John, a lot expected out of this team, a lot of talented veterans coming back. Two big names, of course, Andrea Little and Joanna Brown.
Andrea Little should break York's singles career mark in scoring and rebounding before the year is over. And Joanna Brown, one of the most dominant power players in the league this season. They are very strong pieces of the York puzzle.
Yeah, the 5 seniors on this York team, 4 of them start. All of them should see significant minutes. As far as Marshwood is concerned, a few injuries for them today, John. But the big player for them, of course, is sophomore Allison Marshall.
Yes, Allison Marshall, a great freshman season. She didn't finish as much on offense as Coach Mike Lewis would like to have seen. He's looking for more offense this year. He said, quite frankly, if she doesn't score 10 points a game and get 10 rebounds a game for us, we're not going to do well. So there's a lot of pressure on a young sophomore.
An interesting matchup for game number 2 of the season. John and I will be back with the opening tap in just a moment as York hosts Marshwood on Game of the Week.
Basketball, sports stuff, equipment that's designed for winning, racquetball, soccer, kicking, you can score all this and more. Sports Stop.
It's the season for sports, and Sports Stop is ready. We carry a large selection of sports equipment and accessories, so you don't have to go from store to store to find what you're looking for.
Here at Sports Stop, we're game for sports. Sports Stop.
Dave's IGA, York Village Shopping Center in York, is hometown proud. Proud to be serving their friends and neighbors the most delicious selection of fresh food items available. And to make sure you're getting the best value for your dollar, pick up Dave's IGA Super Savings Circular. The circular is available at the store every Monday morning and can be found in the York Weekly. So stop by Dave's IGA for all the great specials you've come to expect. Open 7 days a week, 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. Dave's IGA, hometown proud.
And welcome back, everyone, to Butler Gym in York. Eric Nelson with John Martins, Paul Mannion on the camera. The officials for tonight's Western Maine Conference Showdown, Sean Anton and Dennis Moore. And let's take a look now at the starting lineups for both of these ball clubs. At the guard position for York will be Tiffany Chapman and Jessica Martell. For Marshwood, Taryn Turcott and Shelby Fontaine. For the center position, Joanna Brown and J.C. Spalding. At the forwards, Molly McDonald and Andrea Little for York, and Beth Hunter and Allison Marshall for Marshwood. The Wildcats in the new uniforms, the white with the blue stripes. An interesting center tap, Marshwood in the purple here, John. They're sending Turcott to jump against Brown.
Tammy Darnell, Marshwood starting center, having trouble with her knees. She was supposed to start, did not, so Turcott goes out to take the jump and just plays defense.
Really, Marshwood conceding the jump and really letting York go on offense first.
J.C. Spalding will be in the middle for Marshwood to start, and that's a key for them, what they get out of her early in this game.
Andrea Little scoring the first points of the ball game. Little with 11 in the win over Wells on Friday is now just 20 points shy of tying Shelby Marshall for the 3rd highest career point total in York history. And as you mentioned in the pregame, John, a legitimate chance of breaking the school record.
York comes out with some full court man-to-man, some pressure defense, so Marshwood does the job to handle it, although Turcott barely got it over the timeline in enough time.
Marshwood player a little shaken up there, number 10, Shelby Fontaine.
As if things couldn't get any worse for Marshwood. Darnell on the bench, Amanda Muzzerall, another senior captain, shooting guard, gone until after Christmas. And Marshwood also dealing with the emotions of a car accident that injured 2 of their classmates on Sunday very severely.
Brown missing, she gets it back, moves in and draws the game's first foul. You'll probably notice a little darker down at that end where York is shooting, John. There are a couple of lights out down on that end of the court, and hence a little darker.
Well, bad pun not intended, but if Marshwood doesn't rebound, lights out will be early for them tonight. They've got to get some rebounding from Marshall and Spalding.
Joanna Brown calmly sinks the first free throw. York shot, I believe, in the high 50s from the free throw line against Wells. Well, uncharacteristic of them, they have not been a good free throw shooting team over the years.
Fontaine checked out. Coach Lewis trying to get a look at her. Let her heal. She appears to be grabbing her right ankle right now.
And Shelley Vetter comes into the game for Marshwood.
York sticking with the full court man-to-man pressure, and Marshwood will call a timeout quickly.
And the timeout coming exactly 1 minute into this contest, John, is York leading it quickly by the score of 4-0. 2 veteran coaches on the court here tonight, John. Rick Clark and Mike Lewis, both in their 12th year, and they have coached against each other a number of times.
You might say that the Lewis and Clark expedition started at the same time 12 years ago. You might, I did, but they've been rivals, and at times this rivalry has been very heated. Marshwood has gone into the tournament many times as a favorite and been knocked off by York, and it's usually been a home-and-home series where Marshwood has dominated on its home floor, York on its surface, but in the last couple of years it's been York getting a little bit the better of it, and they would appear to have the better edge and talent for tonight's game.
Traveling violation against Allison Marshall.
2 turnovers by Marshwood, both coming after they've broken the pressure. So they're breaking the pressure, but the press is working for the Wildcats.
There's Martell into Brown in the middle. And that may be Andrea Little committing the foul there on the rebounding action.
Good defense there by J.C. Spalding, who's taken over for Darnell. She kept Brown away from the basket and kept her off the boards, forcing Little to crash.
Long pass from Marshall, too far for Taryn Turcotte. Had the right idea, John. Pass thrown a little bit behind her.
Marshwood extending the half court here, forcing a turnover.
And they get a steal and a quick second foul on Andrea Little. We'll have to watch that situation closely, John.
Andrea has really not been foul-plagued in her career. She's been a player that's played hard and played a lot of minutes. But she's got 2 quick ones on her, and that may lead to a situation where they have to get her out of the game a little bit earlier than they want to.
It would appear that Fontaine's out of the game for a while, John. She's going to take her sneaker off, and Mike Little's going to apply some ice to that ankle.
Not what Marshwood wants to see right now. They're down by a couple hoops, and one of their players goes to the bench. Nice play there.
A very nice play. Hunter with the, or Mount Marshall with the rebound and basket. Great play started off by Spalding's pass down low to Turcotte.
There you see the leaping ability of Allison Marshall. She's not big, but she can jump.
Mike Lewis wanted traveling there as Little penetrated into the lane.
They were either very big steps or she did take an extra one of the two. She started to penetrate at about the foul line, maybe a step inside, and got there very quickly.
York leading 4-2. Little makes it 5. 6 minutes and 2 seconds remaining in the opening quarter here. York with a record of 1-0, Marshwood 0-1. Little sinks them both, and the lead back to 4. Once again, man-to-man, a little bit of zone pressure there. Marshall.
Smart pass there by Beth Hunter to just throw a bounce pass to the open area and know that Marshall was going to get it.
Shot missed by Hunter, gets her own rebound, battling underneath and gets the basket.
That's what Coach Mike Lewis has wanted to see from Beth Hunter for the last 2 seasons, that aggressive ability to go to the basket, not to be intimidated. And that's what he saw on that play. Good follow-up by Hunter for the hoop. And both of Marshwood's baskets have come on second chances, which is uncharacteristic against a York team.
Tara Eisner, number 14, seeing her first action for Marshwood. So again, they will attempt to break the press, and Tiffany Chapman, a great effort right in front of us. And it will stay Marshwood ball.
Great effort there by Chapman. The ball was loose. She slapped it away and nearly got the turnover.
Little the near steal. Marshall knocked away by Molly McDonald.
She's got to look to shoot the perimeter jumper there instead of pass. She had a nice 12 or 13 footer. She can that shot. She's got to take that one.
Tried to go low to Chapman. It's picked off by Spalding, who is starting tonight in place of Darnell. Another turnover by Marshwood.
4 turnovers for Marshwood, 2 for York, so this game's starting sloppily. Nearly 3 for York.
Little draws the foul on Spalding. That will be her second. So another concern for Marshwood, John. If you're already a little short in the post position, you can't afford to give up a lot of fouls with Spalding.
That's true, Eric. And you look down their bench, there's not a lot of height or bulk to deal with Joanna Brown. So they need Spalding to stay in there.
A 2-point York lead, 6-4, 4:45 remaining in the first quarter. Chapman blocked by Marshall. Here comes Eisner. Or Vetter, excuse me, up into Spalding, and she ties the ball game.
Nice fast break there. Nice fast break there by Marshwood. Good pass by Allison Marshall to J.C. Spalding, who went right up with it, and Taryn Turcotte picks up the foul right after that in the backcourt, and Marshwood already has 14 fouls on it, and that could play out to be a factor.
Just 2 against York in the early going as we head toward the halfway point of the quarter. Joanna Brown, a good drive. So Brown and Little have accounted for all 8 of York's points.
That was probably a case where J.C. Spalding didn't want to get her 3rd foul and was not in position to take the charge. And I don't know that I'd get in position to take the charge against Joanna Brown.
Another Marshwood turnover. Andrea Little comes up with the ball. Gets her own rebound, boy, and it's fouled hard from behind. And that will be the 5th team foul against the Hawks. So York will shoot the bonus early in this first half.
Nothing cheap about that foul. That was a good hard foul. Clean. Preventing Little from an easy basket.
Little misses the first of 2 free throws, and we see Jessica Crosby, number 12, come in from Marshwood. A lot of familiar names here, John. You get the Eisner, Muzzerall, Darnell, Crosby, Fontaine, all younger sisters of players who have played in the past for Mike Lewis.
You would have to say that the bloodlines are there. They're all, as you said, younger sisters who have had great success for this Marshwood team.
Just a couple of years ago, this Marshwood club going all the way to the state championship game.
They lost to a very good Holton team.
Yep, that was 3 years ago, John, and Marshall the basket. 9-8 in favor of the Wildcats.
And all 4 baskets for Marshwood have come in the paint, which is something that you don't usually see against a York High team.
I don't think they've taken a shot outside of 12 feet, John. Little with the move off the back of the rim. Loose ball coming down to Vetter.
Nice crossover dribble there by Vetter.
And that is 3 fouls on Andrea Little. And that will force Rick Clark to go to his bench.
Number 20, Andrea Little, the first third.
3 fouls against York, all of them against Little. And we will see Katie D'Entremont, a 5'11 sophomore, in for York.
Marshwood has to be happy with how many people they're down and how much they've turned over the basketball to be in this position right now.
This is their first outside shot. And that will go to York. So DeEntremont joins Tiffany Chapman. They're the only two sophomores on this team, John, and they're very good sophomores.
Certainly are. Chapman runs the show at the point, which has made it a little bit easier for Jessica Martell this year. And also, Chapman has the ability to stick the three-pointer in the offense. A little bit of high post there for Marshwood.
Nice bounce. DeEntremont's pass is too hard for McDonald, so the Wildcats turn it over. 3:14 left in the quarter. York leading 9-8.
8 turnovers already in this ball game. So the pressure defense is affecting both teams. But what's funny is it seems to be affecting them after they've broken the pressure.
McDonald stepped on the line, almost had a steal.
Nice effort there by Molly McDonald. Marshwood a little bit lazy with the passes. Not real crisp right now with their passing. They got to get that down.
Martell knocked it away, and we get a jump.
Attention arrow to Marshwood.
Have to look up the official scorebook as to whether you judge that as a turnover or not for the team that loses the jump.
Shot missed by Hunter. And it will stay with Marshwood. You are watching TCI of Southern Maine Sports, Channel 12. Eric Nelson and John Martins here from Butler Gym in York. Brown intercepting the entry pass.
Nice play there by Joanna Brown, sagging off and then just jumping into the middle to take the pass away from Beth Hunter.
Nice lob. DeEntremont gets it to Brown. Tips it up, and it's controlled by Spalding. Good opportunity for York, couldn't convert. DeEntremont with some good defense. Remember, Andrea Little on the bench with 3 first quarter fouls.
Not the way York wants to start the game, shooting poorly, but they have done a nice job on defense. They've forced 7 Marshwood turnovers thus far.
Martha Gray with a basketball. She just checked in. Mike Lewis has used 9 players in the first quarter, John.
In the Kennebunk game, he said that he saw some kids who did some things that he really didn't know that they'd be capable of doing, and he continues to run them in and out, and will do so all year long.
And some defense causes another Marshwood turnover. That unofficially 8 for them, John?
8 for them and 3 for York so far, so 11 turnovers in a pretty sloppily played, aggressively played, but sloppy first quarter.
2 minutes left in the quarter. Tough pass across the middle. It'll stay York's ball. The score remains York 9 and Marshwood 8.
The more minutes they can get from J.C. Spalding without her getting her 3rd foul, the better that bodes for Marshwood. Spalding has played very well in place of Darnell so far.
McDonald in traffic lost the ball. And Marshwood with another opportunity to take the lead. York has led throughout, but just slim leads as Brown steals the ball.
Not a good choice there by Crosby. That's an awfully tough pass to make.
Martell inside the 3-point stripe. Brown follows it in.
Just reaching over the player's back, really, not making any contact. The over-the-back rule has really changed over the course of the last 5 years. It's almost like it's okay to reach over now, so long as you don't make any contact.
6 first quarter points for Joanna Brown. She and Andrea Little doing all the scoring for York. McDonald, that's the 10th Marshwood turnover, and it's a York basket. 13-8 York with 1:10 left. McDonald, another steal. Boy, the York defense outstanding here in the first quarter. Martell. DeEntremont had it. Loose ball. York ball.
Number 15, Angela Brown to the hole.
Angela Brown will now play the middle as J.C. Spalding goes to the bench for Marshwood. Good give and go right there.
John Tremont, offensive rebound. She's fouled from behind. So by bringing Angela Brown in, Mike Lewis has used 10 players in the first quarter. And the only player he has not used is Tammy Darnell, who is not at 100%.
When you're playing a high level of pressure defense, you really do have to run a lot of players in there to keep them fresh for the end of the game.
Deanne Tremont, the sophomore, at the free throw line.
York's lead has basically come from the foul line, Eric. They've converted on 4 of 6 so far in the quarter.
Makes one. It's a 6-point lead. It's York's biggest lead, 14-8.
Turcotte to go right by.
Oh, and Brown blocked it, and we get a foul call.
That, from this viewpoint, Eric, that's a bad call. The official appeared to be a bit out of position, and it appeared that perhaps he anticipated the call that there'd be contact. That was a clean block by Brown.
Rick Clark asking body, because he didn't think it was on the hands. That'll send Turcotte to the free throw line.
Did he get an answer?
I don't think he did.
Normally you don't. We notice that Coach Clark is sitting on the bench tonight and not standing now that coaches can. It's interesting. He finally can stand, and he suffered a knee injury, so we certainly wish him well. Knee injuries run in the Clark household this year, I guess. His daughter Christy, a soccer player and basketball player at Wells High School, missed a good part of the soccer season due to a knee injury, but she's back for basketball.
A good press break by the Wildcats. Martell all the way to the hoop and draws the foul. Well, John, that's kind of textbook. Get it to the middle and out to the wings, and they broke the pressure.
Nice drive there by Jessica Martell, showing some of the moves you see from point guards. She's had some experience at the point, and she does know how to drive to the basket.
Martell will take 2 free throws. York unofficially on my scorecard, John 7 for 9 from the line. Rebound taken by Brown. 15-9 the York lead with 35 seconds left in the first quarter. Liza Brown is checked in for the Wildcats, number 14.
She had a good game in the opener there. Liza scored 11 points against Wells. She's another returning player with experience.
Turcotte missing the bomb. Liza Brown, the younger sister of Joanna Brown. Martell up ahead. Chapman does not take the 3. We'll wind the clock down. 5 seconds left. Joanna Brown in the paint struggles, and then a foul is called with 2 seconds left.
In a way, it appeared that she was lucky to get that foul call because the ball appeared to be tied up, and just her strength over Tara Eisner proved to be the difference in that foul being called with 2 seconds left.
Brown will shoot 2. She is a perfect 3 for 3 from the line.
Good quarter for her, 3 for 3. She makes this 4 for 4 and 8 points if she makes this in the quarter.
Off to the left, and that's the end of the quarter. So York turns it on a little bit toward the end of the quarter and open up a 7-point lead after 1. And from Butler, Jim, and York on the Starkey Ford scoreboard, it's the Wildcats 16 and the Hawks 9. If you have been subjected to whiplash injury, contact the Merrill Clinic of Chiropractic, Route 1 in Wells. Dr. Merrill and his staff are trained to detect and correct these problems and restore the neck to normal function. It is not unusual for whiplash symptoms to occur days or even weeks after an injury. So visit the Merrill Clinic of Chiropractic today.
Joann's Gardens, Route 9 in Wells, is your full-service florist. Joann's has a large variety of green or blooming houseplants and a dazzling selection of cut flowers. Stop by our new outdoor display area and choose from among the many plants and shrubs that will keep your garden bright and vibrant no matter what the season. For 28 years, the Farley family has provided the personal touch in gift selection or custom flower arrangements for any occasion. Located across from the Maryland Ridge Restaurant on Route 9 in Wells, Joanne's Gardens, where your satisfaction is guaranteed.
Tonight's game of the week is being brought to you by the York House of Pizza, Route 1A, across from the Village Fire Station. They've been serving the town of York for over 14 years. Come try their great pizza and delicious subs. And also by the Dairy Queen Brazier, 447 Elm Street in Biddeford, featuring the full meal deal. A sandwich, fry, drink, and sundae, all at one low price. And also by Indian of Maine truck caps. For the best prices and selection on Indian of Maine truck caps, go to the manufacturer. Visit the factory outlet, Route 1, south of Biddeford. And also by Jonathan's Restaurant. Jonathan's Restaurant is a new spot for your banquets, weddings, and receptions in Ogunquit. And welcome back, everyone, to Butler Gym in York on TCI's Southern Maine Sports. Eric Nelson and John Martin for this Western Maine Conference matchup between the Wildcats and the Hawks.
Good defense there by Jessica Crosby to force the jump ball. And it'll be Marshwood ball. Lindsay placed that into the game number 10 for York.
Thank you, John. I was just going to mention that.
I figured I'd give your voice a rest.
Thanks. 16-9 as we start the second quarter. York leading, and another Marshwood turnover. Brown lost the ball, and it was called for an offensive foul.
It's a good call. She lost control of the basketball, and the Marshwood player stepped in. I think that's a good call. Marshwood now has 3 more turnovers than they do points, Eric. Unofficially 12 turnovers in this ball game.
Marshall to Spalding for 2.
Great pass by Allison Marshall, and J.C. Spalding proving that she can finish off inside.
DeEntremont, yes, and she draws the foul. And the foul is on Allison Marshall. York shooting in the bonus, though this will be just one free throw off of the basket. There are 5 team fouls against York. They have 1 more to give. Gets the bounce.
She shoots kind of a fadeaway from the foul line, and I think that Coach Clark will work with her to go straight up and not fade to the back after her release.
This is a relatively young group on the floor right now. 2 sophomores, a junior, and 2 seniors for York.
Crosby will take that.
Off the back of the iron, rebound controlled by the Hawks. Shot is missed by Fontaine, who was back in the game after that injury in the first quarter. And Crosby with a jumper.
Having Fontaine back in will help this club if she can move. So far, she looks okay.
Nice passing by York. Joanna Brown for 2.
Brown has the ability to hit that medium range shot. She has good range with the shooting touch, but also plays great with her back to the basket.
And a Marshwood turnover. Turcotte's pass too high for Crosby, and we'll see Jessica Martell come back in for York. Interesting to see when Andrea Little will return, John. She sat down with 3 fouls early in the first quarter, and we haven't seen her since.
Well, right now, York has done a good job of weathering the storm of her foul trouble.
And traveling against Brown, and now we will see Sharon Orchard, a 5'9" junior. Also as a catcher on the softball team.
She had a great year as a catcher last season, filling in for Jessica Martell, who broke her nose early in the season against Wells. Orchard basically earned herself an all-league spot, I believe, and beat Martell out of the catcher's job. Next year, Jessica, when she plays softball, will have to find a new position.
Marshall's shot rattles in and out. Here's Martell on the break. No contact, no foul. And the ball will stay with the Wildcats. 5:55 remaining in the half. 21-13 York.
J.C. Spalding in a position there not to stop the player. She has 2 fouls. She made the right choice of not picking up her 3rd.
Again, the Wildcats will keep the basketball.
You look at Allison Marshall, she's not real tall, but she plays big, she can leap. Strong defensive player.
I thought she played well in the tournament last year, John, up in Augusta.
She played very well, Eric. The biggest thing with her last season as a freshman is she lacked the ability to finish off. She'd make some tremendous moves inside, but just could not get the ball to drop.
Steal by Brown, another Marshwood turnover. That's up toward 15 now, I think, John.
14 turnovers, Eric. 13 points, 14 turnovers.
Martell, yes. Martell opens the lead up to 10.
One of those deals there, Eric, where, well, I'm in a good position. I might as well throw it at the basket, see what happens. And it went in.
The thing that's impressive about the turnovers, York has capitalized on a lot of them, John. From outside, Shelby Fontaine. This is her first hoop.
Shooting runs in the family. Christine was a great shooter, and Shelby hits that one.
Orchard to Brown. Well, the jump ball as Crosby tied her up.
Didn't end up the way that York wanted it, Eric, but that was some great ball movement. Swung from the right side all the way around the arc to the corner, then kicked into the middle. Just the way you draw it up if you're a coach. Not the desired result, but you have to look at who's on the floor, and Coach Rick Clark has to be really happy with that.
McDonald back into the game for York. Oh, nice pass. McDonald. DeEntremont. Good chance by the Wildcats. Here's the break for Marshwood. Fontaine couldn't control it. Orchard picks it up in the corner. Boy, this is just a typical Marshwood team, John. Hustle, hustle, hustle. Oh, nice block by Marshall. The type of team that will run if they get the chance, John.
Yeah, they will, and they'll try to make up on their deficiencies, really, with their aggressiveness. This may not be the most skilled Marshwood team that we've seen in recent years, but last year they didn't have a lot of skill and they went 12-8.
Shelley Vetter in for Marshwood as Orchard hits the shot. And for York, we see for the first time 5'7" junior Melissa Gagnon. So Rick Clark has used everyone on his team except for one, so he has used 10 also.
Nice look on that last offensive play by Jessica Martell, the baseline
Marshall.
bounce pass.
6 for Marshall.
Baseline bounce pass, not something you see a lot of at the high school level.
25-17, an 8-point York lead. Here's Turcotte at the other end. Martell with the basketball. 3:45 remaining first half. York with an 8-point lead. They have led from the start. Their biggest lead has been 10.
Close to 5 seconds there. There's the ball swing by York, and Marshall fouls.
It's unofficially the second foul on Allison Marshall.
Looks like that's one of York's set offensive plays. It's just to take it from side to side, swing it around, and look to the low post. If it's there, kick it in right away. And off of that, they'll either look for the player cutting on the weak side, or the post player will go up.
Brown back into the game for Marshwood. McDonald short on the free throw. And it will stay with York.
She barely hit the rim. If that did not hit the rim, it would have been a violation in Marshwood's ball.
He just scraped it, John, on the way down. McDonald to put it in play. Martell comes out to Brown. And Martell commits the foul.
Probably a little bit of frustration on Jessica's part there. She knew she missed an easy layup after losing Beth Hunter on defense.
So Marshwood will shoot 1-1 on the next York foul, as we have 3:20 remaining here in the first half. Gray in trouble. Should get it away. Here's Hunter. York making it tough for Marshwood. York back in that 1-3-1 zone. Outside jumper, missed. Loose ball, Brown draws the foul.
Marshwood really has yet to look comfortable on a set offensive play. A big credit to York's defense, but also it appears that the chemistry and the matches and the flow is not there yet for this Marshwood team. Keep in mind, this is just the second basketball game that both of these teams are playing that counts, and preseason time has been reduced in the last couple of years between basketball and the fall season. So you see a little bit of this early in the season. It's almost like some scrimmage play.
Misses both free throws. It remains an 8-point York lead, 25-17. McDonald missing, and York will keep the basketball.
Good first step, entry step there, kind of a jump step by McDonald to gain good position. York is missing a lot of layups, Eric.
Oh, nice play off the screen. Melissa Gagnon. Perfectly set up inbounds play, John, gives York a 10-point lead.
Gagnon, a transfer from Amesbury, Mass. Played for the Indians at Amesbury High School and seems to fit quite well with this York team. Coach Rick Clark called her the most pleasant surprise of preseason camp. Nice pass by Gray.
Better to Turcotte. It's 27-19, York. Tiffany Chapman coming into the ball game, and people may say, well, how did John know so quickly that Amesbury's nickname was the Indians? That was a school you used to cover, right?
Yeah, my first job in the newspaper business was covering Amesbury High School. Saw a lot of great athletes down in that area in the Cape Ann League, and still have some contacts down in that area.
I actually called a football game for Amesbury High School many years ago, John. I can't remember who they played. It was that long ago. Vetter on the break. Missed layup. Rebound is fought for, and we have a foul, I believe, against Marshwood.
You know, I called a few games for Amesbury High School in football myself, Eric, so maybe we worked with each other several years ago and we didn't even know it, huh?
Wouldn't that be ironic? Foul is on Gray. Well, I did an assignment for New England Cablevision there one year.
I did some work for them as well during my years in Amesbury.
I'm going to say that was almost 10 years ago, John. Jump ball.
Nice play there by Martha Gray from Marshwood to strip Chapman and force the turnover. Well, Marshwood can get it down to 6, and the longer they hang around in this game, the better they're going to feel about themselves.
1:40 left in the half. And a foul against Jessica Martell. That will be her second. Bear in mind, the Wildcats have played pretty much without Andrea Little in this game. She got into foul trouble about midway through the first quarter, picked up her third foul. Rick Clark brought her to the bench and has not played at all in the second quarter.
And Joanna Brown is spending quite a bit of this second quarter on the bench as well. It's a good opportunity to get some of these younger players some quality time against a good team.
Angela Brown makes the front end of the 1-and-1.
I think a lot of people were surprised to see the Marshwood Kennebunk score in the game opener, that Marshwood was that close to Kennebunk. Marshwood playing good pressure. They get the turnover.
Oh, pinball action. Shot is short. Liza Brown the rebound. Possession will go to York.
Eisner rushed that shot. She had a lot more time than I think she thought she had. Marshwood will go to the full pressure now, trying to make a run with 1:22 left in the half, trailing by 7.
Chapman lost it. Vetter, boy, good presence of mind to get it to Hunter. 1:15 left in the half. Marshwood can cut the lead to 5.
Nice look.
Brown, a rebound on the weak side. Good offensive board. York finally controlling, and a foul on Eisner. That is her third. Seeing some good battles under the boards.
Again, a Marshwood player had the ball middle of the key, about 8, 9 feet out, and looked to the post instead of taking the shot. If you've got it that close to the basket, you've got to take the shot.
D'Antremont misses the front end. Liza Brown the rebound. It's loose. Tossed up there by Gagnon. Liza Brown misses. Will try again, and she gets it. Her first basket, and it's an 8-point York lead.
Fourth shot in that series, and anytime you give somebody 4 shots, they're going to eventually knock it down.
40 seconds left in the half. Oh,
Good
nice
ball
dish into Hunter. Missed the layup. Eisner in the corner. It's tipped out by Plaisted.
28 seconds left in the half. If I'm Marshwood, I look for 1 shot here. I don't know that they will, but I'd look for 1. 1 good one. That looks good.
That's a good one. Hunter missing. Gagnon with a rebound. Boy, Marshwood continuing to apply the pressure even off of misses. Chapman having trouble, and she gets fouled. And that, I believe, is against Beth Hunter. That is her second.
Marshwood coach Mike Lewis standing up in the coaching box, not saying anything, just looking at Denny Moore with some piercing eyes. I don't think he agreed with that call.
Chapman making the front end of the 1-and-1. That's her first points. Or her first point.
I was going to correct you, but I decided it wasn't worth the energy.
Marshwood calls a quick timeout here with 17 seconds left. We will remain with the action as York with a 30-21 lead, and Tiffany Chapman with 1 more free throw to take. Don't forget, coming up at halftime, John and I will go over our very unofficial halftime statistics. Our next game of the week coverage here on Channel 12 will be a Class A boys game, and Submitted for Tigers travel to Berwick to take on the Noble Knights. You can see that game next Monday and Tuesday evening at 7:30 here on Channel 12. And then a week from tonight, next Wednesday and Thursday at 7:30, we're back here at York as the York boys host the Kennebunk Rams. So hopefully a couple of good early season matchups on the docket.
Both of those look really good. It'd be interesting to see what Biddeford can do this season. Second year under a new coach. I'm sure that will help them a bit, having that 1 year of experience.
And Noble with a new coach this year, Fran Piazzik taking over.
That's a good early season matchup for our local viewers.
I think it is. So Chapman will finish off the back end of the 1-and-1 here with 17 seconds left. And it's off the mark. So the lead remains 9. The Marshwood hold more likely for 1 shot, but won't get the chance. And John, the turnover is getting up toward 20, I believe. Awfully close to it. 8 seconds left. 2, and they will not get a shot off. And the half comes to a close. So York, after leading by 7 after 1, increase it to 9 at halftime. And we're going to take a break here from Butler Gym in York. Take a look at the Starkey Ford scoreboard. At halftime, the York Wildcats enjoying a 9-point lead over the Marshwood Hawks, 30-21.
If you're looking for sales, service, and satisfaction in Southern Maine, Starkey Ford, Route 1 in York, has been the place to visit for over 36 years. There's always a good selection of new or used cars and trucks on hand whenever you need safe, dependable transportation. No gimmicks, no tricks, just a great car at a fair price. Sales, service, and satisfaction at Starkey Ford. You can get here from there, just off Route 95 in York, Maine.
Banking at the ocean, banking at the ocean.
For more than 135 years, Ocean National Bank has been an independent community bank, committed to preserving the quality of life in York County. That's why money deposited in Ocean National is invested with local York County families and businesses. If you want to invest in your community, bank with Ocean National.
Banking at the ocean, banking at the ocean.
Today's halftime is being brought to you by the Main Diner, Route 1 North in Wells. Look for their new fall specials where every Thursday they feature the New England Boiled Dinner. Welcome back, everyone, to Butler Gym in York at halftime with the Wildcats lead here by the score of 30-21. Eric Nelson with John Martins. And, John, let's take a look at our halftime stats.
Well, the scoring numbers aren't real pretty for York. Field goals attempted, they made 27 field goals made, 10, percentage of 37%. Free throws attempted 18, made 10, percentage of 56%. And turnovers, big number there, 11. These all unofficial, of course. For Marshwood, they were 9 of 28 from the field for 32%, 3 of 6 from the line, 50%. So York went to the line 12 more times than Marshwood. And the turnovers for Marshwood, a huge number, 17, and that's the big stat there for the Hawks, who trail 30-21 at halftime.
Okay, let's take a look at the top scorers in the first half of play. Joanna Brown led all scorers. She had 9 for the Wildcats. Andrea Little, despite only playing half a quarter, still had 5 points and was the second highest scorer for York. For Marshwood, Allison Marshall with 6, and J.C. Spalding, who started at center in place of Muzzerall, with 4 points. Foul trouble in the first half again. The story, Andrea Little with 3 fouls. Jessica Martell and Joanna Brown with 2. For Marshwood, Eisner with 3. Marshall, Spalding, and Turcott all with 2 fouls. That's a wrap up here the first half. We've got to get going. Stick around. We'll be back right after this on the Starkey Ford scoreboard at halftime. It's the Wildcats leading the Hawks 30-21.
It's time to contact Maurice Poirier Oil Burner Service, 29 Meeting House Road in Biddeford. They offer furnace cleanings, 24-hour emergency service, and they also do plumbing. Call 284-4789 today.
Kind of shoulder the burden of both sides of the ball and still play well.
They'll kind of go on, and we kind of get a sense that way from what teams are different.
It's just incredible what Biddeford has done, and I expect them to continue.
In where they play on the schedule, I think they could give teams a battle.
Sportlight, every Wednesday and Thursday evening at 7 p.m. on TCI of Southern Maine, Channel 12.
The Main Diner on Route 1 in Wells is open daily from 7 a.m. to 9 p.m. A favorite breakfast item at the diner is the popular Eggs Benedict, served with hollandaise sauce and freshly grilled home fries. The Main Diner also serves an interesting assortment of lunch and dinner items, including an award-winning seafood chowder, mouth-watering clams, and their much-acclaimed lobster pie. In season, the diner also serves their very own garden-fresh vegetables. The Main Diner, where the friendliness of the staff, the quality of the food, and the family prices are most impressive.
Hello, I'm Gail Hudemacki, Office Manager for TCI of Southern Maine. This Christmas, I'm asking you to join hundreds of other Southern Maine families by donating a new toy to TCI of Southern Maine's 9th annual Toys for Tots toy drive. Your donation of a new toy will help a local needy child have a merrier Christmas. As a thank you, TCI of Southern Maine will offer you free installation or upgrade of any of our premium services, including our special holiday package, which offers HBO, Cinemax, and Encore for our lowest price ever of $12.90 per month through June of 1994. New unwrapped toys can be dropped off at TCI offices in Moody and Biddeford or at Kennebunk Savings Bank in Ogunquit. Thank you for making this a merrier Christmas for those less fortunate than us.
Back at Butler Gym for the start of the second half on TCI of Southern Maine Sports, Channel 12. Marshwood in the purple uniforms will have the ball to start the half. They trail by 9. It's Chapman, Little, Martell, Brown, and McDonald to start for York. That's their starting 5. They'll start off in a 1-3-1 zone. And for Marshwood, it's their starting 5. Hunter, Marshall, Fontaine, Turcott, and Spalding. And Marshall gets them on the board.
That's a shot she has to make this year for Marshwood. She has to make that shot for this team to be successful, and she showed there that she can stick the shot.
Quick jump ball will stay with York.
York has really been successful all game, Eric, at getting the ball onto the block, the low post. Marshwood has to shut that down.
McDonald back to Martell. They swing it around. Steal. Picked off by Beth Hunter, and Marshwood with a chance to cut it to 5. Oh, nice play by Joanna Brown.
She read that perfectly, Eric. She just sat back until the pass was made, exploded to the ball. The York kids know, too, that Allison Marshall has to be the big part of this offense, and they're playing her very tough.
Steal. Turcotte has Marshall up ahead. Nice pass, and she lays it in. Marshall with 10, and this is a 5-point ball game, 30-25. And Rick Clark calls timeout with 6:31 left in the third quarter. Well, Hawks doing a decent job, John.
Yeah, it's a game where they've hung around, and they come back out in the third quarter with a little bit of energy, run off a couple baskets. I still think that York is showing a great ability to attack on the blocks, and if they continue to pound it inside, that's where they'll win this game significantly. Marshwood is very challenged inside to keep up with Joanna Brown and Molly McDonald with a lack of size. And I would suspect that you'll continue to see York try to pound it in, and occasionally they may kick it out to Little or perhaps Tiffany Chapman to loosen up the middle a little bit more.
For York, coming up on their schedule, this Thursday they host Gorham, and then next Tuesday a big matchup, a rematch of last year's Western Maine final as they travel to Kennebunk. That's next Tuesday. York with the ball after the timeout. Little wide open. Brown the offensive rebound off the glass. Spalding controls.
Fans wanting a foul there on Spalding. They didn't get it. Nice crossover dribble by Turcotte.
And out of play.
Pass just a bit too high for J.C. Spalding, but a good idea by Taryn Turcotte. Both teams playing a little bit less aggressive. They've dropped their man-to-man defense down to half court or quarter court, if you will. Nice cut by Brown.
Off the glass, Joanna Brown leads all scorers with 11. That's the first points of the half for York. Hunter gets it back. Puts it in, Beth Hunter.
Nice second effort there by Beth Hunter. She got away with a walk, but she got the hoop.
They've done a decent job rebounding, even though they're outsized. 5-point York lead. Martell. Marshall takes it away. And our first foul of the half will go against Tiffany Chapman.
I'll call the number 23, Tiffany Chapman, her first.
So Marshwood continues to hang around in this game. They can cut it to 3 with a hoop, to 2 with the three-pointer. Soft pass there by Turcotte.
Boy, Chapman get tied up. It'll stay York ball, 5:04. Left in the third, 32-27 Wildcats.
Both teams being a little bit careless with their passing here, Eric. Telegraphing the passes. Both teams have shown that they're going to come out on defense and extend the defense, so these soft passes will get picked off.
Marshall being very aggressive in their defense. Chapman to McDonald, and she traveled.
You had the idea when she started making that move that it would either be a travel or a charge, She initiated all of the contact on that play. This would have been a player control foul or a travel.
DeAntremont in for McDonald.
York going with the full court box type pressure here.
Turcotte lost control. Martell, nice save. Chapman will set the offense.
Again, the turnover comes after Marshwood breaks the press. Right when they're trying to settle it, they lose it.
Foul should be on Shelby Fontaine, her first.
Number 10, Shelby Fontaine, her first.
And the team's first of the half. Marshwood in that zone, Little. Brown, the second chance, yes! Count the basket. And the foul on Marshall, it's just the second field goal of the half for York.
Just a case of Brown being too powerful inside for Marshwood to handle. And really, you look at the Marshwood lineup, Eric, and there's nobody that can match her physically tonight.
Missed the free throw. 13 tonight for Joanna Brown. 3 for 5 from the line. And the lead is 7 for the Wildcats midway through the third.
5 turnovers for Marshwood already in this quarter. 4 for York. So the turnover bowl continues here. And as we said before, a lot of it is a tribute to the hard defense, but some of it is just a tribute to what you call early season rust, I think.
They quickly got her the ball. Give the assist to DeAntremont.
As I had said earlier in the quarter, that's where Marshwood will lose this game, is inside.
Turcotte with a pretty runner. 36-29 York. Tough pass into traffic, stolen by Marshall. Marshall with speed. Hard off the glass. Spalding follows.
Great rebound and seal inside there by J.C. Spalding for the 2.
And Marshwood back to within 5, John.
Stick around. It might be sloppy, but it sure is fun.
Lob to Brown. Nice move. Joanna Brown having a great ball game. She's got 17. Hunter for 2. The teams are suddenly heating up here, John, and lighting up the scoreboard. Here's a turnover. Marshwood can pull to within 3.
Big trip here for the Hawks. Nice look.
Marshall, rebound to Brown. She calmly slows it down. 2:20 remaining in the third quarter. 38-33 York.
She walked. She got away with it.
Andrea Little, her first hoop since the first quarter. Hunter, Little the rebound.
Great positioning by Andrea Little there to keep Spalding off the boards, and she takes it all the way.
Oh yes, count the basket.
So Marshwood gets within 3, and before you can say, I don't know what, they could get it up to, York could get it back up to 10 very quickly. Maybe a wake-up call for the Wildcats. They came out firing when Marshwood got within 3.
Jessica Crosby into the game. Little misses the free throw, so the lead remains 9 at 42-33. 1:45 left in the third quarter. That should be York basketball.
Ball deflected by Little, hit Marshall's knees, and went right out of bounds. Good call by the official.
And we had a great view on that one, John. Right in front of us. D'Entremont for 2. She's got 6 points tonight.
Tell you, that's a great shot by D'Entremont, just to catch, turn, and off the glass. It looked like a player who's been playing a lot of basketball. Nice turnaround shot. It's a good call.
Technical foul.
It's a good call. Andrea Little reached over the end line, hit that ball.
Being explained to the official scorer.
Rick Clark doesn't agree.
And that will send Shelby Fontaine to shoot the technical free throw.
Two shots plus possession.
And York calls timeout with 1:29 remaining in the third quarter. 44-34 is the score. There still seems to be some confusion on the sideline as you see John Carmichael, the JV coach, talking with Sean Anton.
Seemed to be a lot of confusion. Coach Clark wanted to talk about it and wasted the time. He wanted to talk about it so much he used the timeout to discuss the situation. And he continues to talk to referee Anton about the situation, and I think he's talking to the wrong official because I don't believe that he made the call.
No, it was definitely Dennis Morrow made the call. He was the one that was near the inbounds play and called the technical on Andrea Little.
I think the point that they're trying to discuss here is whether or not that counts as a personal. If it does, and I believe it does count as a personal foul, that will be Andrea Little's fourth foul. So that's probably why they're discussing this so vigorously on the sidelines, because with 1:29 left in the ball game and a 10-point lead, perhaps cut down to 9, Little could be heading to the bench with 4 fouls.
So it was her fourth. She makes both technicals, and Andrea Little is on the bench.
That's a huge swing, really, momentum-wise. A 2-point swing so far. Could go to 4 here if Marshwood can score, and then Little on the bench.
Especially big because York had been slowly pulling away, John, after Marshwood had cut the lead to 3. Crosby from outside.
She had her feet on the 3-point line, so it goes as a deuce, but it's still a big basket. And a turnover here.
Crosby to Vetter. She double dribbled. So a 7-point York lead, 44-37, with 1:07 left in the quarter.
Marshwood will turn up the heat here with Little on the bench. Joanna Brown also on the bench, so, and it works.
Vetter, get a lucky bounce. Crosby, yes, she's hit 2 big jumpers. And the lead back to 5.
Crosby's instant offense. Nice play by on the press break there by D'Entremont.
Martell. D'Entremont the rebound. Yes, big hoop for York. They needed a basket, John. They got it from the sophomore. 46-39.
I think with Little and Brown on the bench, this is the tempo Marshwood wants. Brown has to use the glass there for that basket. She's got an easy basket if she uses a window. Chapman
missed the layup. Oh, and she fights to get it back. And then traveling as she was on the floor. 10 seconds left in the quarter. This has been an exciting third quarter.
How many times in high school girls basketball do you see the girl not use the window? And the window helps you a lot in that situation to shoot off the square, use the backboard when you're inside. 6 seconds left.
Gagnon in for York. Crosby couldn't control it. And the clock will expire in the third quarter. So Marshwood cuts into the lead by 2 points, and after 3 from Butler, Jim, and York on the Starkey Ford scoreboard. Got a good one going here. York leading Marshwood 46-39.
Babies love being born at York Hospital. All of these babies did. Mothers love it too. At York Hospital, there are no surprises for mother or baby. When you come to the hospital to give birth, there are no strangers taking care of you. No change in shift personnel, people you have never met or seen before. When you have a baby at York Hospital, you're cared for by your nurses, ones who have shared your pregnancy, your delivery, and are there for you after delivery. Your doctor and your nurses, who know you, your concerns, and your desires, will be on hand at this most important time of your life. All of these beautiful babies were born at York Hospital. Why not yours? We invite you to call us and learn more about our unique birthing program, designed to meet the needs and desires of mothers, babies, and the entire family. Why not make York Hospital your hospital? York Hospital, just across the bridge from New Hampshire.
Tonight's game of the week is being brought to you by the York House of Pizza, Route 1A, across from the Village Fire Station. They've been serving the town of York for over 14 years. Come try their great pizza and delicious subs. And also by the Dairy Queen Brazier, 447 Elm Street in Biddeford, featuring the full meal deal, a sandwich, fry, drink, and sundae, all at one low price. And also by Indian of Maine truck caps. For the best prices and selection on Indian of Maine truck caps, go to the manufacturer. Visit the factory outlet, Route 1, south of Biddeford. And also by Jonathan's Restaurant. Jonathan's Restaurant is a new spot for your banquets, weddings, and receptions in Ogunquit. Back at Butler Gym in York, start of the fourth quarter. Marshwood trailing York by 7. They have the basketball to start the quarter. Eric Nelson and John Martins bring you all the action. It's been a good one so far. Marshwood hanging tough. Gray missed the shot. Martell and gets fouled on the sidelines.
Seems like Marshwood is all night has been the team that gets really close to cutting the deficit even further. They've gotten as close as 3. And they just can't seem to take that next jump in this game. York always seems to have the answer. Joanna Brown is back in for York, I'm sure, to stabilize the situation. They'll look to the post there. There it is.
Brown rushed it, missed the shot. Possession to York.
York's offense is not really that difficult to figure out, but it sure is tough to stop. A lot of contact there.
Liza Brown, no, that one went in and came right back out. Wildcats will keep the ball.
It appeared that she traveled before the shot, so she got a break, I think. And 3/4 of the way in the hole, and it comes right out. Watch Joanna Brown down the middle. Nope, they kick it out.
Chapman for 3. Off the back of the rim, better the rebound, and then she is fouled by Chapman. Her second, and just the team second. Neither team close to the bonus. 2 team fouls against York, 4 against Marshwood.
Marshwood looking to check in a fresh 5 here. And that may intensify the defense.
Let's see, we've got Hunter, Turcotte, Fontaine, Marshall, and Spalding. So essentially the starting 5 coming back onto the court. Both coaches using 10 of the 11 available players to them. And ooh, that's hard right in front of us. Really, Mike Lewis using everybody, John, because Tammy Darnell has an ice pack on her knee. I don't think she really could have played tonight, though. She's suited.
Yeah, she's got the ice pack on. Mike Lewis told me before the game that she was having difficulty walking. So when he said she was going to give it a go, I kind of thought maybe she might not get there.
So because of the intensity, both coaches using just about all their bench.
Nice
Stolen
deal.
away, Turcotte. Turcotte on the break with Playstead. Oh, big spin move. Spalding draws the foul on Joanna Brown, and that is number 3. 3 on Brown, 4 on Little, who was on the bench.
Turcotte with an incredible move. If that would have gone, that would have been the move of the night. I've been impressed with the play of J.C. Spalding tonight from Marshwood, Eric. She not expected to start. She's done a fine job for the Hawks. She's got 7 points, a chance to make it 8 here, and she's been a real factor on the boards.
Both teams shooting great from the line. Marshwood 7 for 10, York's 12 for 20, so combined they're shooting well over 60%. Loose ball, Lindsay Playstead. Her shot is short, and she commits the foul. And suddenly, 46-41, no bonus. And Marshwood with the ball again.
The interesting thing in this game will be, when will Rick Clark go to Andrea Little? Most coaches, when they have a player with 4 fouls, like to get it to about the 4-minute mark. We'll see what happens here.
6:15 remaining and a 5-point York lead. Spalding working on Brown. Missed the shot.
Spalding's first miss on the night, but a good move by her to try to get Brown to commit her 4th foul. Good defense there by Tara
Boy, and
Turcotte.
Rick Clark is hot. He thought that went right off of Turcotte instead of Martell.
I think he might be right. I don't think I've ever seen Coach Clark get off the bench and be that hot.
I almost thought he was going to get technical there, John. He came real close. Of course, that rule this year with the coach's box, you can stand.
No doubt in my mind that would have been a technical last year, Eric. No doubt in my mind.
He had fire in his eyes.
Maybe Denny Moore should be thankful that Coach Clark has a bum knee.
They run the stack for Fontaine. Turcotte. Brown, a big rebound.
Not a good decision for Turcotte. That was a rush shot, not really what they want in that possession.
So York has been able to kind of keep Marshwood at bay. They get him to 5 and they kind of hold him there.
Nice play by Marshall.
And taken back by Martell. A little over anxious to get that pass to Turcotte.
Good.
5:20 left in the game, John.
Good defensive play on the other end by Marshall to take it away.
Lindsay Playstead, yes. An opportune time for Playstead to get her first basket. Lead back to 7. Spalding. Fontaine will shoot it. Nice head fake, puts it up. McDonald, the weak side rebound.
Whenever Marshwood has needed the big shot tonight, Eric, they just haven't gotten it. Good move by Fontaine to increase her chances there, but she missed the shot.
McDonald. Brown, yes, Liza Brown. Well, York working the boards, and it brought the lead back to 9. Andrea Little. Looks like she's ready to come in a few moments. Spalding for 2.
Marshwood needs a stop here.
And there's a foul on Beth Hunter. Her 3rd and the team's 5th. And here's the answer to your question, John. Andrea Little returns with 4:14 left in the game.
That's about the right time, just about the 4-minute mark. It's where coaches like to make the move. They figure that their player can play foul-free for 4 minutes.
There is Little, blocked by Marshall. Here we come the other way. Jessica Martell, her 3rd foul, and they had some to give. That's only the 5th team? Or team 6th.
The technical foul counts as a team foul,
thank
so
you,
that's
John,
probably
because it
where
did
you
count as
lost.
a personal, yes. Hunter from the corner. Rebound by Playstead.
Marshwood has missed 5 shots, I believe, since getting it to 5. So they have had 5 chances to cut it down more, but haven't gotten it done. When the big shot's been needed, they've missed.
Andrea Little. 11 for Little in limited time tonight.
Marshwood needs a hoop in this trip, and they need it desperately.
They go to Marshall. Short. Little the rebound. York can go up by 11. And it'll stay York ball.
That's what we had I talked about Allison Marshall earlier in the season, Eric, and that's what plagued her in her freshman year, being open in the middle, close to the basket, and not being able to finish. She is going to be an exceptional player before her years are done at Marshwood High School. No question about it. Once she gets that finishing touch, she's going to be one of the best in the conference.
Lindsay Plaisted has come off the bench to play well, and the lead is now its biggest. 11 points, 54-43. Just under 3 minutes left in the game.
Fontaine for the 3.
Marshall the rebound. Turcotte. They get it again. Vetter. And they throw it away. Here's Little. Boy, poked away by Vetter. Nice defensive play. And Little answers at the other end by knocking it away.
I'm wondering why Marshwood coach Mike Lewis is still waiting with the timeouts. I thought he might take one here, try to decide what they want to do for strategy down the stretch.
Marshall. 12 for Marshall, but it may be a little too late as they trail it by 9. Brown missing. 2 minutes left in the game.
Marshwood could use a 3 here, but at the very least, a good move inside.
York spread out their defense a little bit more to combat that. Martell missing. Plaisted, yes. Lindsay Plaisted, 6 big points in the fourth quarter.
And they've done it inside. They've basically beaten Marshwood on second chances, rebounds, inside baskets. They've exploited Marshwood's weakness tonight, which is in the post. Hunter's played well. She has 8 points, and she's played a pretty strong game for the Hawks.
Minute 20 remaining. Nice pass. McDonald to Brown. 19 for Joanna Brown. Martell to McDonald. Plaisted gets blocked by Marshall. McDonald, and Marshall comes away with it. 1 minute left. York scoring as Turcotte misses. Vetter. That's Little. Andrea Little, oh boy. She is fouled.
A hard foul by Taryn Turcotte, bringing the York fans to their feet. Asking for an ejection, it appears. And Sean Anton just pulled Taryn Turcotte aside, the official, and spoke with her. Taryn has a reputation in other sports as being a little bit of a chippy player, but that was a hard foul on a layup. And I know coaches don't teach their players to hurt, but I know that when they feel that when they're going to give a foul on a layup, that it should be a foul that limits the player from getting the basket, and foul certainly filled that bill.
Little misses both free throws. 35 seconds left. Vetter. Little the rebound. 58-47 Wildcats. They scored 57 against Wells. They have 58 here tonight. D'Entremont picks up the loose ball. 20 seconds left.
York will look to run out, just simply run out the clock here.
That's what they will do. 10 seconds. And that's the ball game. York runs out the clock and gets a nice ovation from the home crowd as York moves to 2-0 on the season with a 58-47 win over the Marshwood Hawks. York outscoring Marshwood 12-8 in the fourth quarter for the victory. So we'll do some quick tallying here, John, to find out the scorers. The leading scorer for Marshwood was Allison Marshall with 12. J.C. Spalding had 10, Beth Hunter with 8, Jessica Crosby with 6, Taryn Turcott with 5, Shelby Fontaine with 4, Angela Brown with 2 for the Wildcats. Led by Joanna Brown's 19. Andrea Little had 11, Katie D'Entremont with 8, Lindsay Plaisted with 6, Jessica Martell with 3, Liza Brown with 4, and Sharon Orchard, Molly McDonald, and Melissa Gagnon with 2. So everybody who played scored for York. Let's go down courtside, John. We'll be back in just a moment. Our Sports Top player of the game coming your way right after this. A final look at the Starkey Ford scoreboard. York defeats Marshwood 58-47.
What are you doing?
I got a great deal on this paint.
You're putting this cheap stuff on my house?
Uh-oh.
And don't you need primer?
I do.
Go to the Benjamin Moore dealer.
Stop by Benjamin Moore and let us shed some light on your next painting project and show you some of the best paint values available.
Don't paint in the dark. Go to your Benjamin Moore dealer.
If you picture yourself as a sports-minded individual, there's only one place you need to go. The Sports Stop, Lower Main Street in Sanford, for the sports-minded individual. Get the picture?
Welcome back to the postgame show here at Butler Gym. The Wildcats go to 2-0 with an 11-point win over Marshwood, 58-47. And joining John and I for our postgame show is the head coach of the Wildcats, Rick Clark, and our Sports Stop player of the game tonight, Joanna Brown, who led all scorers with 19 points. First off, Joanna, congratulations on the win tonight. 2 in a row for you, a couple of good wins, especially against a couple of rivals like York and Marshwood. Happy with the way things have started?
Yeah, we had a little, we were a little down on rebounding today, but in the Wells game we did really well with that, and hopefully in our next few games we'll pick up on rebounding because that was a big factor tonight, but everything else has been going really well.
We worried at all when Andrea Little got into foul trouble first quarter, had to sit down with 3 fouls?
Of course I was worried, but I knew that we could hold on till halftime. I mean, we have a lot of strong players from the bench, and I knew she'd be back in at halftime and things would pick up. I just never, I never thought that we would get into any trouble, and I knew that she would be back in and we'd get things under control if they got a little shaky.
What do you think was the difference, Joanna? Do you think you just kind of wore them out on the boards after a while?
I think that we just kept running and we saw how they were being aggressive, and we just started to realize that we needed to be like them, and we started playing our own game and not their game, and started getting rebounds and making shots and cutting on offense to get open and making our shots.
A couple of big games coming up. You play Gorham at home, and then of course the rematch with Kennebunk on the road. You kind of looking forward to that one?
Well, one game at a time, so we gotta get to Gorham first, and then we'll concentrate on Kennebunk.
Okay, congratulations, Joanna. Great game tonight. You win the plaque from Sports Stop for your 19 points, and congratulations. Okay, we'll let you head off. We'll talk to Coach for a few moments. And I don't know if I said, I might have said York played York and then Marshwood. Did I say that earlier?
Well, obviously, if they play each other, they're going to win, right?
Second game of the season, what can you expect, right, Coach? But, of course, it was Wells that York defeated in the first game of the season. Joanna, big contributor for you tonight, Rick.
Well, I think if you look back over the years when Joanna and Andrea are on the same team, anytime Andrea is in trouble, Joanna almost always picks up and takes charge. And she did that tonight. She had to, and she did it. The rest of the team, as she said, we have a good bench this year, a very good bench, and they all contributed. I think 10 girls played, and every one of them helped us. you know, kind of covered when she was out.
John?
I just thought that tonight the key for you guys was to be able to get the ball on the block against them with Darnell on the bench, J.C. Spalding in her role. It seemed like you had a big advantage there, and you seemed to do a really good job at getting the ball there when you needed to.
I think we tried to do that throughout the game. Sometimes we did it better than other times, and we kind of lost sight of it 2 or 3 times when we get panicky running up and down the floor. But you're right. Anytime we wanted to, we really could. The question is how quickly they collapsed on her, and if we dished it out, I went, you know, to someone on the other side. But yeah, that's a major part of our offense. When you got 2 girls like Andrea and Joanna, and then you can come in with Katie DeAntremont, you know, and Sharon Orchard, you know, get real good size there. So it's an effective part of the game.
I noticed that both teams went to very deep into their bench tonight. Is that typical of the style? You know, do you have to do it because of this racehorse style, or is it something that you really want to do with this group this year?
This is what we want to do. We're running hard. We're not afraid of fouls. You know, we're playing aggressive. We get the fouls. We get the fouls. I'm as confident in this bench as almost any bench I've had. And they showed it tonight. And that's the 2nd game in a row they've shown it. And as long as they keep playing and get added experience, they're only going to get better as time goes on. So that's the way we're playing.
All right, Eric.
Okay, congratulations on the win, Rick. And we'll catch you later in the season. The Wildcats now with a 2-0 record. Marshwood drops to 0-2, so York with a 58-47 win. And, of course, Joanna says 1 game at a time, so they'll move on to Gorham next. But certainly a lot of people looking at that Kennebunk game.
I noticed that Coach Clark shook his head in major agreement with Joanna. Let's not look past Gorham, but obviously everybody can't wait to see Kennebunk and York match up early this season.
Okay, our next game of the week coverage here on Channel 12 will be next Monday and Tuesday evening at 7:30 as we see some Class A boys action as Biddeford plays at Noble. So for John Martins and Paul Mannion, I'm Eric Nelson. Have a nice night, everyone.
Watching TCI of Southern Maine, Channel 12. We now end another evening.